So we're currently in the weekend beta for Dune Awakening, meaning we get to test out a bunch of stuff in the early game because again, this beta is only encompassing like the first 20 or 25 hours of the game, but this does allow us to test some things. And in that testing, I was able to figure out what I think is going to be one of the strongest starts for your starting class choice and your starting ability choices. Now, there aren't actually classes in Dune Awakening because as you progress throughout the game, you will be able to have access to every single skill, passive, technique, anything in any of these trees, you'll be able to have access to no matter what, as long as you continue to progress in the game and find the trainers you need. But at the start of the game, you're going to choose one of these schools or trainers as your starting class, essentially. So you'll choose between either being a swordmaster, a Bene Gesserit, a mentat, or a trooper. Now, just starting the game, this primarily just gives you your starting ability. So I chose Bene Gesserit, and this gives you the compel ability. That's a main thing you start with, but you also start with the initial section of that school. So starting as Bene Gesserit, I've been able to get all of these passives, all of these abilities, and progress quite a lot throughout these trees. One of the primary things is it seems you're able to get at least level 1 of everything in these trees besides the capstone at the top. If you want to go more into these different trees, so if I want to get like level 2 out of this vitality passive, or I want to get the capstones, I would have to find a advanced Bene Gesserit trainer and do their objectives so they train me how to learn the more advanced parts of this tree. And that works in the exact same way if you choose any of these other schools for your starting class. But this also means you won't be able to get any of the skills or passives or anything else from any of the other trees, even the more basic stuff, until you go find that trainer in the world and do their objective. Like I went and did the first objective to get the starting skills and passives for the trooper, and it was actually a somewhat long quest, primarily in travel, because I just had to go to a bunch of different areas and kill these like named enemies. So it did take a bit of time, and that was only the basic training for one of the other schools. So choosing a starting school that helps you a lot in the early game and helps you speed up the early game is actually going to be quite important. And that's why I think the Bene Gesserit is actually going to be one of, if not the best starting school you can go with. Now, you'll get the compel ability once you just choose Bene Gesserit, and this essentially allows you to CC an enemy and they just run towards you and they don't really do anything else. Now, this can work in PvP as well. They just have to be in line of sight for this to work. Early on, especially, your first like 20, 25 hours or something, before you can even get to pretty much any PvP, this is going to be against PvE enemies. And once you're going up against a group of enemies, being able to just CC one of them for a decent amount of time is actually really strong. But one of the main reasons taking Bene Gesserit is so strong is because after you level up once, so you get another skill point, you can then go get the Bindu sprint ability, which is insane, and the main reason I recommend taking this as your start. Now, this ability, you override your nervous system and musculature with an immense surge of activity, allowing you to run forward at an incredible speed. So this ability has a cooldown. Mine's currently 90 seconds. I think it's 20 seconds baseline. It has a stamina cost to start it, and then a stamina drain the whole time. Essentially, this is a incredibly fast sprint. If you've ever played World of Warcraft and played a warrior where you charge somebody, it's kind of that, like kind of a similar speed to that. It's just you keep going until your stamina is completely drained. So if you have full water, meaning you have more stamina, or you get more stamina from other passives or any other effects in the game, you'll just be able to sprint longer and longer. And as you upgrade this as well, once you get advanced Bene Gesserit training, it'll actually reduce the stamina drain on this ability, so it'll get even better. Now, what this is super strong for early on, besides just being able to move throughout the map much more quickly before you get your vehicles, is at the start of the game, before you can even craft vehicles, it does want you to travel around the starting area of Haga Basin quite a bit, but you'll notice that there's big sections of open sand between like the pillars and the rock faces, where if you're running out there, a sandworm can eat you there. But with this sprint ability, these big sections between the different rock formations, you can just Bindu sprint across them incredibly fast. There are so many areas that if I did not have this sprint, I would have been eaten by sandworms already, just because you can sprint so ridiculously fast with this. And not only is this sprint just an incredibly nice quality of life, because it just allows you to move around so much more quickly on the map, but it will just allow you to progress the early stage of the game much more quickly, which will allow you to get to the parts of the game that open up a lot more. So you've been through the main quests a lot quicker, so you can craft a lot more, so you can get your vehicles more quickly, to then go explore the map much more quickly, and just get to the things you want to do much more quickly. Because early on in Dune Awakening, you are essentially just following the main objectives, because those are what you're forced to do to continue to get more research to allow you to learn to craft more things. So that's essentially what you're doing in the early stages of the game, and just being able to sprint everywhere, especially before you get your first bike, is ridiculous. But that's actually not all. There's actually some other really strong parts of this, and this is in the right side tree, the body control, because a lot of this is just about keeping yourself alive, and more specifically having more health. So first off, you have recovery. This gives you healing regen limit, and this is just a passive. Anything in any of the trees that's just a circle is a passive, so you can have the effects of that no matter what. And this gives you healing regen limit. Then you can get trauma recovery. This is a technique, so you can only have 3 of these at a time. These go in these 3 slots here. This gives you healing regen limit and healing regen rate. You can go up here and get vitality. It gives you more max life, obviously going to be incredibly strong. You can get self-healing, which gives you increased healing effectiveness, so you heal much more easily. You can keep yourself alive much more easily, and you don't have to spend as much resources because you're healing more. Then if you're continuing to get points, you can get sun tolerance, so your sunstroke rate is reduced, which is really nice when you can't move around as much when you don't have a vehicle. Poison tolerance, so if something's trying to poison you, it just has a much lower chance to do that. Then metabolize poison, which again is just to help you not get poisoned or to make that poison go away much more easily. So a lot of this is just about staying alive, which the more you stay alive early on in a survival game, the faster you're going to progress. So I think starting as Bene Gesserit and going into a lot of these passives, and more specifically going into Bindu Sprint, is going to be one of the strongest starts you can get in Dune Awakening. It is absolutely ridiculous how fast this sprint is. I'll also have some footage in this video, and you'll very easily be able to see just how ridiculous it is. But that's pretty much all I want to go over, so thanks for watching.